Hello all, and welcome to tonight's beer review, which I am dubbing the high effort beer review. Why is it high effort? Well, because it's nighttime right now, and it's actually Wednesday night, so this is actually my Friday night, because I have Thursday, Friday off. So Wednesday is my Friday night, and I've had a request to review some certain beers. So I have to go and move up the timetable a little bit since these are not local beers. I've also noticed that that there's been an increasing mains hum from basically the electrical things that I place the microphone by. So I don't know if you noticed, but I have like this thing back here. I've set up a stand. So I've had a microphone stand since about 2012 that I've never once used, and now it's getting used. I'm getting my $50 worth. I bought this when I bought like a digital audio workstation setup, which is what I've reviewed all these beer reviews on. And it was originally for the recording of music, and I gave up that dream, like so many others. Shriveled, dried up like a raisin in the sun, etc., etc. You know what I'm paraphrasing here. So, what are we reviewing today? Well, this has been sitting out for about 15 minutes. And this is from Waikiki Brewing. And this is the Blackstrap Molasses Porter. So, let's read the back, shall we? Roasty dark chocolate and coffee aromas are tied together by just a hint of molasses, while Golding and Fuggle hops bring a refined earthy bitterness to this award-winning porter. And award-winning it is. It's 2017 silver in the Great American Beer Festival. So this is 6.1 ABV. Kind of notice I don't really review much stouts or dark beers, and reason for that is I'm not super into them. Sorry. But I'm on a mission to go and review all local beers. This is a canned release. So let's get to it, shall we? And to be honest, I actually thoroughly enjoyed this one. So why did I go and let this warm up for about 15 minutes? Well, it's just a lot better that way, I found. Oopsie doodle. Dribble down the side there. My fault. My bad. So, pretty dark with a slight ruby tinge at the base there. So otherwise utterly opaque. With a frothy to thick beige to light brown head. Pretty dark for a porter. Notes of coffee, carob, and even molasses in the nose. Hops are definitely there, giving it a earthy smell. Some slight floral hints. All in all, there's a very strong, I wouldn't say, actually not strong, but a pervasive scent of molasses throughout. That kind of weaves its way through the malts in the bouquet. Nice roasted notes in the front. Reminiscent of dark chocolate, carob tea, of course. Coffee, But I wouldn't say that it's a very strong coffee note. Hops are bitter and earthy in the finish. Not very strong. Well within the style guidelines for a traditional porter. And like in the nose, the taste of molasses pervades throughout, from the front into the finish, but in a subtle manner. It's difficult to describe the taste of blackstrap molasses. I've had it before because my grandmother liked to use it in cooking at times, so I've got to taste it. And it has a very distinctive, very sharp taste. It's usually very sweet, but there's also a kind of almost sulfuric touch to it. And kind of a burnt note that is different from the sort of burnt notes that a dark malt can have. And it just kind of gradates into those dark malty notes that kind of are the overtones. And it just leaves very subtle presence on the tongue with the hopping. And also contributes, I think at least, to a thicker mouthfeel than for a 6.1 porter. I wouldn't say it's oily, but just thicker, like molasses. The actual porter itself, a bit on the heavier side. It actually gradates towards stout, and that's just because the dark malts are pretty strong, and this is still within the porter style, even though I'd say that porter to stout is really more of a continuum than a sharp thing where something crosses the line at one point or another. But it is kind of distinctive how little sweetness there is, even though it has blackstrap molasses as an element to it. And I think that a lot of those residual sugars have been fermented off. You know, the yeast ate it. It really is interesting how that molasses note kind of interplays its way through. The only other time I've really detected molasses notes in beer, I've been in certain barrel-aged beers. And that is more evocative of molasses. This really tastes like it. You could pretty much say that if you sat down and you drank this for a while, that yes, you know, there must have been molasses added as an adjunct to this. All in all, I'd have to say that this is a pretty decent porter that has an interesting adjunct added to it that is very apropos for the locale, namely Hawaii, even though we don't really grow much sugar anymore. Whatever sugar we grow is mostly artisanal in nature. Yes, I'm serious. The only sugar that we have now is really artisanal. They're used for basically different varietals of sugar. Yes, there are different varietals of sugar cane. And so it's using a local ingredient, using it well in a distinctive manner. The actual base beer itself is not going to blow you away. It's simply a decent porter. But if you have the chance, definitely give this a shot. It's a decent porter that has a local ingredient that really makes it interesting, and it kind of goes to show you that when it comes to a lot of these beers, it doesn't have to be like a really bizarre thing you throw in there. It really relies on it being a good base beer and having an ingredient that makes sense. In short, blackstrap molasses instead of, say, like an ice cream sandwich. I don't know. I do realize I have reviewed red velvet cheesecake beers, but those days are mostly over for me. I'm still going to review stunt beers, but I'd rather review stunt beers using odd yeasts or something like that. But just the idea of making a great beer using simple ingredients done well and giving a unique twist that really takes something into a different place and, give this a shot. While it's not the best porter I've had, it's definitely a very interesting porter and probably, deserving of that 2017 award. So, that's your beer review for tonight, folks. I'm going to try to start loading these reviews up online soon, hopefully. Fingers crossed. And that's your beer review for tonight, folks. Cheers.